comments?
It's a prestigious tournament. I think it is. I think some teams and some players overlook it, but it's got a storied history, and it's an opportunity for players to really make a mark, and I'm excited about it.
I think I was most nervous when I heard I was going to come up, just understanding that I'm here for a purpose, which is to win a game. I'm just going to take it how I take every other Toros game, and I don't think I'm going to have any nerves.
Hey there, Brock. Hey, Josh, how you doing? Great. So I come in, I intro, set the scene, take one break, come back and do starting lineups and kickoff. Just one break, okay. Hey, David. Hey, Dave. I'm having some issues with my monitor. Please cue me if I'm missing something important here in the pregame. Tonight, the U.S. Open Cup comes to Houston, Texas. The Houston Dynamo hosting San Antonio FC in the first ever meeting between the new Texas rivals. Joe Willis, a good run in the Open Cup a few years ago with DC United. And it looked to begin a good run for the Dynamo here in 2016 under interim head coach Wade Barrett. Welcome to BBVA Compass Stadium. It's the fourth round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Dating back to 1914, this is the 103rd edition of the prestigious knockout tournament. And the Dynamo trying to get as far as the semifinals or beyond. That's the best ever finish for the Dynamo, 2006 and 2009. San Antonio FC, well, they launched as a soccer club in January under the ownership of the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA. A slow start in the USL in their first season under head coach Darren Powell, but they're off to a good start in their first ever voyage in the U.S. Open Cup with 2 wins to reach the fourth round. It started in the second round for San Antonio FC. They beat Corinthians of San Antonio 3-1. Then they traveled to Des Moines and they beat the Des Moines Menace in come from behind fashion 2-1. Jacques Francois with the winning goal after Sam McBride equalized. This game set for kickoff at 7:30 p.m. here Central Time. We'll take one short commercial break. When we come back, starting lineups and kickoff from BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
BHP Billiton is a leading global resources company with mining and oil and gas interests worldwide. Our reputation is built on proven performance, helping provide the energy that keeps the world moving, cities growing, communities thriving. And we combine this innovative spirit with a commitment to sustainability, developing natural resources with responsibility and integrity, today and for years to come. BHP Billiton, resourcing the future.
It's Star Wars night at BBVA Compass Stadium on June 18th. Come watch your Houston Dynamo take on the evil empire of DC United.
Come to the game, you must.
Cable, insurance, electricity. What the?
Sometimes, looking at your energy bill can be like getting hit on the head with a soccer ball. Discover how much you could save by switching to Frontier Utilities. It's the same electricity you have now for less.
Nice. Oh! I don't think I need you this month, Luis.
Oh, very good.
Frontier Utilities, a proud sponsor of the Houston Dynamo.
All right, come on, everybody, it's time to go. Come on, who's excited for the new today?
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings, pure and simple. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
A good look at BBVA Compass Stadium here in Houston, Texas. 91 degrees, but with humidity, it feels like 102 here before sunset in southeastern Texas. Just minutes away from the opening kickoff. Let's get to the starting lineups. First for San Antonio FC under first-year head coach Darren Powell. Spent time as a player in the Premier League and 9 seasons as head coach of Elon University in North Carolina. It's a good lineup for San Antonio FC. A few familiar faces, most notably up front. Jason Johnson spent 2.5 seasons with the Dynamo, formerly a first-round pick of Houston in 2013. He's off to a good start in San Antonio with 4 goals in all competitions. A few other former MLS players, Stephen McCarthy a few years in New England. A number 2 overall pick, Carlos Alvarez at Chivas USA, spent some time in Colorado. Sean Chin's a veteran. A lot of talent on that team and some crafty veterans in there, including Rafa Castillo, who is now 36-year-old, a former Colombia international. Now for interim head coach Wade Barrett and the Houston Dynamo. This is Wade Barrett's first home game as the head coach. He did very good on the road at Vancouver and at FC Dallas, gaining road points. You see DeMarcus Beasley, he is starting for the Dynamo tonight. Shows how seriously the Dynamo are taking this competition. The 4-time World Cup veteran will captain the side. Joe Willis, a very good run in the Open Cup with DC United when they won it a few years ago. Spanish center back Agus partners with David Horst. And Mauro Manotas will look to recapture his form. He scored in his Dynamo debut in this competition last year against the Austin Aztecs. A few others make their competitive debut for this season, including Zach Steinberger. A Dynamo in orange. San Antonio FC is in black. And much easier travel for San Antonio FC today than what they went through in the third round when they traveled to Des Moines. They basically had 3 hours sleep, had to spend the night in Dallas, and they won that game in come-from-behind fashion. We'll get more into that a little bit later. The captains meet for the coin toss to Marcus Beasley for the Dynamo, and Josh Ford, 28-year-old from Liverpool, New York. A professional for many seasons, spent last year with Orlando City, 4 years before that with Seattle Sounders. The Dynamo have a cautionary tale from 2012. They went to San Antonio to take on the Scorpions, the NASL club, which was basically the predecessor to San Antonio FC. And the Dynamo lost 1-0. Tyler Derrick was in goal that night, and a penalty for the Scorpions bounced the Dynamo from the tournament. Since then, the Dynamo better luck against Texas foes. They beat Austin Aztecs last year Laredo Heat in 2014. They were bounced by FC Dallas later in 2014. Last year, they made it to the quarterfinals and lost to Sporting Kansas City in a real back-and-forth game with their longtime rivals. This is the very first game for San Antonio FC against an MLS opponent. A very ambitious club in San Antonio. The ownership group is the same as San Antonio Spurs of the NBA, great organization. And Tim Holt, the president, former president of the USL, talked about how this is a huge measuring stick for the club and what it would do on and off the field to generate buzz in San Antonio and around the country if they were to pull off the upset tonight. Jason Johnson, former Dynamo man, will get things started for San Antonio FC. And here we go. We are underway from BBVA Compass Stadium. It's the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup 4th round. Boniek Garcia with David Rocha. Picked up in the middle, Carlos Alvarez. Here comes Johnson, held off by former teammate David Horst. There is a breeze blowing through BBVA Compass Stadium at the moment, so that helps offset the heat and humidity. As I said, 91 degrees with the humidity, feels like 102. But it's definitely felt worse in this building without a breeze. Was told about 100 or more San Antonio FC supporters made the trip, 3 full bus loads. Very good attendance at Toyota Stadium, one of the best in the USL. Good challenge from Alex Lima for the Dynamo. And now the home side gets forward. Manotas. Big opportunity for Manotas, was just kind of coming into his own before the departure of Owen Coyle, as he left the club at the end of May. Long ball from Williams is too long for Zach Steinberger. Had a good appearance off the bench at Vancouver, nearly scored against Chicago, had scored twice for Rio Grande Valley FC in the U.S. Open, or in the USL on loan to the Dynamo's hybrid affiliate. Now an opportunity to take advantage of a start. Scored against Colorado in the 5th round of this competition last year. That was his first Dynamo start after coming off the bench against Austin. Left back Greg Cochran, previously with LA Galaxy and the Chicago Fire. He had the pivotal assist for San Antonio FC back on June 1. San Antonio found themselves trailing in that game until the 72nd minute. Sam McBride equalized off the Carlos Alvarez free kick. And then it was Cochran assisting on Jax Francois' game winner against the Des Moines Menace. And that's what brought San Antonio FC here to the 4th round. Boniek Garcia at the center circle. David Rocha has not played in MLS since April when he came off the bench against Seattle. Did play against Real Sociedad in the BBVA Compass Dynamo Charities Cup a few weeks ago. I'm sure he expected to play more when he came over from Gimnastic de Tarragona in Spain's Segunda A, but he's had a tough time breaking into the midfield against Ricardo Clark, Alex Lima, and now Colin Warner. Cochran forward for San Antonio FC. Danny Garcia challenging for SAFC. Here's Chin. And a free kick to the men in black. That's our referee, Les Svatek. San Antonio opened their first ever Open Cup campaign, May 18th against Corinthians of San Antonio. A 3-1 win for San Antonio FC. As Menottes draws the foul, quick restart from Shannon Williams. And there's Jason Johnson picking the pocket of Lima. But the Dynamo win it right back as Miranda pinched in. 5th minute scoreless game. Matt Peterson with you from BBVA Compass Stadium. Good switching ball from Alex Lima. Miranda scored his first Dynamo goal in this competition last year. It was at this stage, the opener against the Austin Aztecs in a 2-0 Dynamo win. Here's Josh Ford, 28-year-old. Great career at UConn, set school records for shutouts and starts. Might be a free kick for San Antonio. Horst there to challenge. This game will take a little while to open up. The heat and humidity will make the players perhaps a bit more cautious. But San Antonio, of course, used to the weather. Very similar climate as Houston. Michael Reed. Stephen McCarthy, 27-year-old, grew up in Dallas, played for the Dallas Texans Youth Club. Alvarez, back to Castillo. The Honduran Milton Palacios. Good position from Williams. Now it's Miranda. Turns it over against Cochran. Rocha wins it for the Dynamo. Good defensive organization here for San Antonio. This is Sean Chin. Back to Agus Garcia. Agus had a nice run of starts at the end of Owen Coyle's run as head coach, but when Wade Barrett took over as the interim head coach just a couple days to prepare before Vancouver, it's been David Horst and Raul Rodriguez, the center back partners. We'll see what happens moving forward. It's basically 3 players playing 2 spots throughout the course of the season. Another good win from David Rocha. Once played for Villarreal B in Spain. The captain at his old club, Gymnastic, helped them gain promotion to Segunda a couple years ago. Very patient build up here from San Antonio. McCarthy, 4 years in New England, 69 MLS appearances, and spent last year with KUPS in Finland. A Dynamo with the benefit of added rest. They last played June 2nd at FC Dallas, a 1-1 draw. Nearly a 2-hour weather delay as the field was flooded. And the Dynamo got a good equalizer, second half from Ricardo Clark. Here's Johnson. Back to Michael Reed. Rafa Castillo, 36-year-old Colombian. Miranda does well to slow down that threat. Castillo won an NASL title back in 2014. Went to San Antonio Scorpions, had a memorable bicycle kick and was named MVP of the Soccer Bowl that year. Stays in San Antonio to join San Antonio FC. Foul called against Williams. Quick restart from San Antonio FC. McCarthy targeting Johnson. Well defended by Horst. Johnson, number 13 overall pick of the Dynamo in 2013. 21 appearances in league play, 4 starts, scored once. Traded to Chicago last April and brought Alex Lima to the Dynamo. And there he is, the Brazilian's had a great season with Houston. Only games he's missed due to suspension. Horst. Now Beasley gets forward. Finds space, but the pass is just a bit long from Alex Lima. Marcus Beasley wearing the captain's armband for the 3rd straight game. He wore it in Vancouver and Dallas. Giles Barnes has been away at the Copa America Centenario. Started all 3 games for Jamaica, which has been eliminated from the competition. Barnes, of course, the regular Dynamo captain. Slow start to this one, 11th minute from Houston, Texas. First ever meeting between these clubs. San Antonio FC in their first season in the USL. 2-5-5. They've been good defensively, but have had a tougher time scoring goals. Spoke with head coach Darren Powell yesterday. He said, we've been very organized defensively. A possession-based team, as we've seen in the early going, wants to see more opportunities to go to goal. Throw in far side for the Dynamo. Powell, now 40 years old, a great playing career in England. Played for Crystal Palace, Southampton, Derby County, Brentford. 9 years as the head coach at Elon University in North Carolina, their winningest coach in school history. 4-time Southern Conference Coach of the Year. Palacios. Michael Reed. Powell was very complimentary of him when he spoke yesterday. He was with Atlanta Silverbacks last season. That club dissolved. And Reed's had a nice run with San Antonio FC. Tonight's his 10th appearance. 90 minutes in the 3rd round win at Des Moines. 90 minutes in the last 3 USL games. Here's Palacios getting forward. Low cross right at Joe Willis. Palacios 28 with a few Honduran clubs, Motagua, Marathon. Last year with the Scorpions in San Antonio. Palacios also a season with Heredia in Guatemala. Steinberger wide for Lionel Miranda. Service from Williams. And Alboniak with the throw-in. Right back to DeMarcus Beasley. Boniek at the edge of the box. Heavy touch. And then he stepped on the foot of his fellow Honduran Palacios, who is down behind the play as San Antonio plays on. Boniek was trying to get into the box, make a play. Touch got away from him, and as he tried to get it back, he stepped on Palacios. No upsets in the U.S. Open Cup last night. Wilmington Hammerheads probably came close as a 2-0 lead into the second half at Rio Tinto Stadium in Utah, but Salt Lake came roaring back 2 late goals, and then they won on penalties as Palacios is assessed. 2-2 after extra time, then a 3-1 shootout win for Salt Lake. LA Galaxy had to play down a man for most of their game at home against La Maquina, but they scored 3 times in extra time for a 4-1 victory. And then the Portland Timbers got a great free kick goal from Jack McInerney. They beat San Jose Earthquakes 2-0. Several games into the second half on the East Coast. Philadelphia 2, Harrisburg 1. A game in Philadelphia. Palacios will stay in this game after receiving treatment. And it's a San Antonio FC goal kick. Walter Restrepo, Roland Alberg with the goals for Philly. Craig Foster has pulled a goal back for Harrisburg City Islanders. No real scoring chances to speak of here. 17th minute on a hot night in Houston, Texas. Ford with the goal kick. Good header from Horst. It's back to Sam McBride. 21 years of age. Played for Darren Powell at Elon University. And he had his first professional goal at Des Moines, the equalizer. His header off a free kick from Alvarez. Ref lets them play on the far side. Rocha with Williams. Agus. DeMarcus Beasley. Good ball over the top. Boniek is offside. Elsewhere, Orlando leads the Jacksonville Armada 1-0, 86th minute. Rochester hosting the New York Red Bulls, 1-0 New York, 85th minute. Rochester, the last lower division team to win the U.S. Open Cup. That was in 1999. Danny Garcia comes over, a Dallas native, came up through the FC Dallas Academy. And 3 seasons with FC Dallas. May have some blood, which forces him to exit the field. They're assessing his forehead, right where the braids on the top of his head meet the forehead, and they'll give him some treatment. So for the moment, San Antonio FC is down a man. This game needs a scoring chance. Agus into the attacking half. Lima. Rocha with Williams. Good organization from San Antonio. A 5-man midfield. Johnson, the lone forward. Lima, a good switch to Marcus Beasley. And the flag comes up again. So it's been a very consistent line across the back. Milton Palacios, Stephen McCarthy, Sam McBride, and Greg Cochran have been very organized. In USL play, Josh Ford, the goalkeeper, has played every minute. Only 9 goals conceded in 11 games. So you would think San Antonio would have a better record, but as we said, goals have been hard to come by, and they're 2-5-5 through 12 games. Now Lima called for a foul. Alvarez wins the free kick. DC United, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, 0-0. The Maryland Soccer Plex, 64th minute. New York City FC against the New York Cosmos. Scoreless, early second half. The other games are early as well. Jason Johnson in the corner. Williams retreating. Johnson keeps it alive and he wins a corner kick for San Antonio FC. First corner kick of this game. Johnson scored the very first Open Cup goal for San Antonio FC, 3rd minute, back on May 18th against Corinthians of San Antonio. That was an eventual 3-1 win. Jacques Francois scored twice in the second half to seal the win. Interesting formation in the box for San Antonio, very spread out. And there's an opportunity for Sam McBride against the slider Shannon Williams. But he cannot make good contact. McBride, of course, had that tying goal at Des Moines a couple weeks ago. That would have been an upset. Des Moines Menace, they've pulled a few upsets over the years. But 2 goals after the 70th minute for San Antonio FC. That game was on June 1st, and the night of travel the day before for San Antonio FC was just brutal. They flew from San Antonio, had to connect in Dallas. They didn't land the plane in Dallas due to poor weather as Horse switches for Beasley, and it's a San Antonio throw-in. The plane returned to San Antonio. They sat on the tarmac for 3 hours waiting clearance to go back to Dallas, got to Dallas, missed their connecting flight to Des Moines, had to scramble to find a hotel. All the hotels were booked due to all the cancellations in Dallas. Finally got to a hotel at 1 a.m., but had to wake up at 4 a.m. to catch the first flight out the next morning to Des Moines. So 3 hours of sleep for the visitors, but they got the job done at Valley Stadium, West Des Moines. Also experienced some Houston traffic getting here tonight. They arrived later than they had hoped. Throw in now for San Antonio. So a good pushback here from SAFC the last few minutes. Milton Palacios set for a long throw-in. Flicked on by Castillo, and the Dynamo able to clear. Wade Barrett talked yesterday about mentality, energy to stay on top of San Antonio FC. Dynamo have been lacking energy here early on, as Miranda does well to win the ball in midfield. Rocha, cleared by Palacios. Agus Garcia played in a U20 World Cup for Spain. Rocha, frustrated, kicks out at the grass after his switching ball is too high for Shannon Williams. This tournament does, of course, include great tales of travel. A Dynamo beat FC Tucson here in the 3rd round in 2013. Tucson reached the 3rd round as Beasley pulls a nutmeg against Reed. Tucson beat San Antonio Scorpions in the second round that year, and they had taken Vans from Tucson all the way to San Antonio for the game. Tucson, of course, a PDL club. Well, they got the luxury of flying to Houston a couple weeks later for their third round meeting, a 2-0 Dynamo win. Beasley, good move to shake Palacios. Now it's Boniek Garcia at the end line. Here's Boniek. It was cleared by McCarthy, went off of Garcia, and a goal kick to San Antonio FC. So the first real chance here for the Dynamo comes in the 25th minute to Marcus Beasley and Boniek Garcia combining on this left side. And a good block in the end by McCarthy. Did not concede the corner as it went off the Honduran on its way over the end line. Forward from Liverpool, New York. 2 appearances last year for Orlando. He has started both Open Cup wins for San Antonio FC this year. Rafa Castillo. And we will have our first hydration break of the night. Comes in the 26th minute. The temperature right now, 91 degrees. As we said, with the humidity, it feels like 99. So a hydration break lasts typically between 90 seconds and 3 minutes. So we'll go back to the U.S. Open Cup scoreboard as Harrisburg City Islanders has equalized against Philadelphia. So that game is 2-2. Bobby Warshaw, a tying goal. Possible extra time looming in Philadelphia. It's gone final. Orlando beats Jacksonville Armada 1-0. David Mateos, a second half goal. It has just gone final in Rochester, New York. The Rhinos falling at home to the New York Red Bulls. Sasha Kleshchuk, a penalty. A assists leader in MLS, converts from the spot. Red Bulls advance. They're in a weather delay in Columbus. The Crew hosting Tampa Bay Rowdies. DC United, Fort Lauderdale Strikers still scoreless, 0-0, 72nd minute. It's the debut of young 16-year-old homegrown player Christopher Durkin. His signing announced yesterday, part of the USU 17 national team. New York City FC 0, New York Cosmos 0, 63rd minute. Carolina Railhawks of the NASL, they're hosting New England. Scoreless game through 19 minutes. Halftime in Minnesota. Minnesota United FC nothing. Sporting Kansas City nothing. Scoreless games in Chicago and Dallas as the Fire hosts Indy 11 and Dallas hosts OKC Energy. Hydration break is over. They will take the time that was used in the hydration break and add it to first half stoppage time. Beasley. Dynamo struggling to find a rhythm. They have been off. They had basically a 4-day break after the tie at FC Dallas with MLS taking 2 weeks off from league play for the Copa America Centenario. They've been practicing all week as Williams delivers. Pretty good ball cleared by Sam McBride. Now it's Lima. Steinberger back for Williams. Deflected, and Manotas heads it just over the bar. Good opportunity for Manotas. His headed goal, the eventual game winner against Colorado Rapids in the 5th round last year, his first Dynamo goal. Good menacing cross from Williams. Manotas came close. Second chance for the Dynamo. The first was Boniek Garcia at the end line, well defended by McCarthy just before the break. Rocha. Now wide to Steinberger. Manotas a heavy touch, but then he draws a foul. And it's Michael Reed. Manotas turns 21 July 15th from Sabanalarga, Colombia. Part of Colombia's qualifying team for last year's U20 World Cup, but did not make the final roster. An assist in his debut against Austin in this round last year, and a goal against Colorado a few weeks later. Here's Boniek Garcia. Dynamo finding some rhythm. Lena Miranda. David Rocha. Not the best from Manotas. Sloppy turnover. Jason Johnson against Horst. Help arriving from the midfield for San Antonio. Johnson against Horst, and Miranda did well to provide cover for Horst. Wade Barrett talking about San Antonio FC this week. Said they can make you pay if you're sloppy. Very good on the counter. Jason Johnson, very good speed. 3 appearances for Jamaica. Former Generation Adidas player. So what Wade Barrett guarded against and talked about, the Dynamo have been just that, sloppy in certain areas. It hasn't cost them yet, but Manotas' turnover a moment ago, an example of what Barrett wants to avoid. San Antonio, 12 goals scored, 12 goals against in 12 games in their first USL season. Most recently, a 1-1 draw at Portland Timbers 2 on Saturday. So the Dynamo, the more rested team. Agus back to Willis. And Boniek draws a foul. Too much contact from behind from Milton Palacios. Alex Lima got a red card at Vancouver. He and Pedro Morales tussling in the 40th minute. A shove from Lima around the neck of Morales. They were both sent off. The game ended 1-1. This is Lima's first game since May 28th. Another delivery from Williams. Good claim by Josh Ford. San Antonio FC's inaugural captain. And now Lima fouls Rafa Castillo. You don't find too many 36-year-olds in the USL. Like Castillo, tons of experience, 9 caps for the Colombia national team. One of the first signings for Darren Powell in San Antonio FC. So big clubs in Colombia he's played for: Independiente Medellin, Real Cartagena, won a title with Al Ahly in Egypt. Tonight's his 13th appearance in all competitions. Real steely midfielder, Rafa Castillo. Not a lot of time to build this club. Darren Powell, with the assistance of Tim Holt, the managing director, former president of the USL. The franchise was awarded the first week of January. USL season started at the end of March. So they targeted the spine of the team. It starts with the goalkeeper, Josh Ford. Good dribbling here. Sean Chin, wide, Jason Johnson. Back to Palacios. But Ford, of course, last year in Orlando, where Darren Powell oversaw the Orlando City SC Pro Academy and their U.S. Soccer Development Academy teams. So some familiarity there. Stephen McCarthy, an MLS veteran, plus a center back that Powell coached at Elon University in Sam McBride. And a player like Rafa Castillo with tons of experience in the middle of the park. Danny Garcia, an attacking mid with a lot of professional experience. And then up front, Jason Johnson, who played 20 games for Chicago Fire last year. So that was sort of the start and the core of the team. But a very competitive team. The goal difference speaks for itself in USL play, as Boniek thought he was fouled. Ref lets them play. There's an instance, the Dynamo just a little bit sloppy. Short pass from Williams to Miranda. He has to stretch for it, recovers it, but it leads to a throw-in instead of maybe an attacking move for the Dynamo. 38th minute. Quiet first half for both teams. Good spin for Manotas. And he plays it behind Boniek, gets his own pass, and he puts it away! Mauro Manotas! Again in the U.S. Open Cup. And the Dynamo have a home lead against San Antonio FC. Manotas was intending to pass to Boniek Garcia. He made a different run, but Manotas stuck with the play, picked it up, left-footed finish, pass forward. So we see the replay, good strength from Manotas. Played behind Boniek, ran onto it, and beautifully placed left-footed finish as he finished against Real Sociedad in the Charities Cup. Second career Open Cup goal for Mara Manotas. The 20-year-old Colombian gives the Dynamo a 1-0 lead here late in the first half. He loves these opportunities to start. Has yet to start an MLS match, but in Charities Cup competition and the Open Cup, he's taken his chances. And here, he fouls Chin. Training staff comes on the field for San Antonio FC. That's Sean Chin down, 27-year-old from Miami. Veteran of American soccer, spent last couple years with Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Before that, VSI Tampa Bay, also Minnesota Stars and FC Edmonton. He's in some pain though, clutching that upper right shin and right knee. Was talking about Manotas scoring in these opportunities. Scored twice against Santos Laguna at the Dynamo Charities Cup last October. Scored against Real Sociedad a few weeks ago. So we see the challenge and a very awkward fall from Chin. Took a little bit of contact from Manotas, but that didn't cause what is ailing Chin right now. It was his awkward landing as you saw the grass come up. Jordan Harding, the head athletic trainer for San Antonio FC. Walking off under his own power, which is a good sign. Couple years in college at Boston College, then South Florida. A coaching staff talking with Darren Powell as we speak. Now Chin lying down on his back as he's assessed. Darren Powell, the head coach. Andy Thompson, Nick Evans, Juan La Madrid, the assistants. So for the moment, San Antonio FC playing down a man. The Dynamo leading 1-0. Mara Manotas, his first goal of this season with the Dynamo. Not counting his Charities Cup goal. Scored twice on loan with Rio Grande Valley FC, the Dynamo's hybrid affiliate. Good ball from Lima. Beasley towards Boniek. Good clearance by McCarthy. Off to the side, Chin is jogging back and forth slightly as Horst went down in midfield. Some space here for Johnson. Left-footed player takes it towards the corner on this right side. Service from Johnson, athletic clearance from Agus Garcia. And now Lima finds Beasley. Chin jogging some more. Coaches deciding on this near side what to do. I think Chin's night is over. Looks like Jax Francois, the Open Cup hero for San Antonio FC, will be the first change made by Darren Powell. Shannon Williams, good move on the right side, past Cochran. Good early ball, clearing header from Sam McBride. Miranda comes in late. San Antonio playing down a man. Johnson had dropped to the midfield, so no target player. Steinberger. Francois will come on at the next stoppage. To Marcus Beasley. Lima with David Rocha. Armanotas. Truly a goal scorer's goal for Morrow. It seemed to me like he was trying to play it to Boniek Garcia at the top of the box, but Boniek made his run into the penalty area. Armanotas alert, reacted first, ran onto it, and then a good bending left-footed finish just inside the right post of Josh Ford. He may say that was his plan all along, that he just wanted to put a touch out in front, run onto it, but seemed like a pass. Now Beasley with Lima. Approaching first half stoppage time. We'll have several minutes after the hydration break around the 26th minute. Palacios clears off Lima, and that will allow the first change for San Antonio FC. It's Jax Francois coming on for the injured Sean Chin. Francois, 23 years of age, born in Haiti. Spent 2 years at UNC Greensboro. Last year he was the Southern Conference Player of the Year. And he spent time last summer with the Orlando City under-23s, which was coached by Darren Powell, now the San Antonio FC head coach. He's been very good in the Open Cup, 3 goals in 2 games plus an assist, as August can't find Beasley. The Dynamo have had a very tough time finding Beasley on this near side. Simple distribution out of the back. There's Reed over the top, too long for Johnson. Great spring for Francois. He finishes his degree at UNC Greensboro after signing in February. Darren Powell, the head coach, let him finish school. So he finishes school, makes his debut May 18th in the second round of the U.S. Open Cup. Francois, in his professional debut, scored twice and had an assist as he set up Jason Johnson's opening goal. How about that? An assist 3 minutes into your professional debut, then 2 second half goals. And then he had the winning goal 2.5 weeks ago against Des Moines Menace, 81st minute winner off the Ray Cochran assist. So 2 Open Cup appearances, 3 goals and an assist. And he's been a substitute the last 4 games in USL play as the throw comes into Manotas. Good strength from the Colombian. Wide right Miranda, low cross, and that's cleared from Rafa Castillo. David Rocha. Bent ball towards the corner. Boniek against Palacios. Lima. And Boniek tried to keep it alive. Rocha there ahead of Francois. If you read his name, it looks like Jock, Jacqueus, but he goes by Jax. Haitian-born Jax Francois. Lena Miranda, far side for the Dynamo. They lead 1-0 here in the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup. Lima for Beasley. 1-on-2. Beasley thought he was fouled. He ran right into Carlos Alvarez on the near side. About 30 seconds left in this first half. There'll be 4 minutes added on here at the end of the first half. Steinberger wins a late corner kick. Will the Dynamo take their time as the big boys get forward? Agus, about 6'3", Horst 6'4". Horst has been much better on set pieces this year, already a career high 2 goals. Beasley with the delivery, Flick to the back post, and it's kneed home by Lima. Well, that's a dagger for the Dynamo. Final seconds of the first half off a corner kick. A back post goal for Lima, and it's 2-0 Houston on the final play of the half. Darren Powell furious on the San Antonio sideline. The worst kind of goal to concede right before the break. As we see the replay, short corner from Boniek. Smile on his face, Beasley's service. Flicked onto the back post. Looked like David Rocha. And a Spaniard flicked it on. An assist for Rocha and an Open Cup goal for Lima. So not a lot going forward from the Dynamo, but they took care of their chances. First Manotas, and in the final seconds of first half stoppage time, it's Alex Lima making it 2-0. A lot to talk about in the locker room for San Antonio FC head coach Darren Powell. He has 45 minutes to keep San Antonio FC's inaugural voyage in the Open Cup alive. Halftime from BBVA Compass Stadium. We'll come back, have a lot of halftime programming set for you. Our halftime score in the U.S. Open Cup 4th round, Houston Dynamo 2, San Antonio FC 0.
It's Star Wars night at BBVA Compass Stadium on June 18th. Come watch your Houston Dynamo take on the evil empire of DC United.
Come to the game, you must.
Dash Dads. Bring your family for Father's Day.
Take Dad to a Dash game this Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
All right, come on everybody, it's time to go. Come on, who's excited for the zoo today?
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings, pure and simple. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
I've heard you reference a number of times the 2006 and 7 championship teams, which were wonderfully amazing teams. For those in the know, they knew when that team was coming to Houston they were going to compete for an MLS Cup right away. But I've also heard you say that there's been a little bit too much lean back on that. So legacy of this club, unbelievable legacy. Nobody ever takes that away. But those were different men. These are different men now. Has there been a little bit too much leaning back on the championship years here with this club?
Well, I don't know if there's been too much. I think it is worthwhile for us to recognize that we come from a championship pedigree. We have been there. And more recently, Glenn, we've been in MLS Cup. We were there in 2011 and 2012, and we were a game away in 2013. Now this is a much different group. There's not that many that are still here now that were part of that group then. So I don't want to take the team back. I don't want anyone to misunderstand when I say that I'm not trying to go back to what the Dynamo, what made us great.
Well, can you even go back with this group of players? It's a totally different group of people.
There's no looking back, Glenn. There's only looking forward. But I do want to establish that the foundation that this team right here, how we will move forward is those things. It's hard work, it's discipline, it's being selfless in how we go about things. So, and that means that there will not be a player that's bigger than the group. And, I'm going to give every single player on the team a chance to listen to what I have to say and to apply those things in training. And I really hope that everybody is on board. But if there's any kind of issue, that's what's going to happen. And all my coaching decisions will be based on those things.
Working with the Houston Astros to pioneer less invasive treatments for shoulder injuries. Using advanced training programs to help the Houston Dynamo and Dash avoid injury. And using innovative healing techniques to get the Houston Texans back on the field faster. working with elite athletes to better treat the everyday athlete. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading.
Rising before the sun is easy when you love your work. It's done every day by the thousands of electricians at the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 716. We train hard, show up on time, and feel responsible for the work we do. We live by our word. There are no excuses, because customers and Houston's community deserve that. IBEW, where skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't all that skilled. The time is now to hire IBEW electricians.
CenterPoint Energy, we're giving you more tips on natural gas safety.
Before digging in my yard, I always call 811 to have my utility lines marked to avoid service interruptions or injury. It's better to call 811 now than 911 later. And if I ever suspect a gas leak, I leave the area immediately, and then I call CenterPoint Energy and 911 from a safe, remote location. Really?
Your safety is in your hands and always on our mind because you are at the center of everything we do. CenterPoint Energy. Always there.
It's Star Wars night at BBVA Compass Stadium on June 18th. Come watch your Houston Dynamo take on the evil empire of DC United.
Come to the game, you must.
This group of guys now that you have, do you judge them based on now when you're taking the team over, or do you have a lot of preconceived when you were an assistant coach? Because an assistant coaching role, as we all know, sometimes you're a little bit more friendly with the players as opposed to the head coach. How does that dynamic work, and does everybody have a clean slate now since you've taken over? In your mind, do you need to do that?
I think I've done a good job, even in the interim, of using the people that are around me to approach, things going forward. It is difficult because I do have some judgments on the team and the players, but that is based on what has been asked of them in the past. I'm asking some different questions of them now. I'm telling them specifically what I want, and I do feel like I need to give every single player a chance to listen to exactly what I'm asking and to see if they can apply it in the way that I think is best for the team. So, in a sense, yeah, the players are getting a fresh look. But we and it'll be necessary for me to get that correct moving forward, because I want to try to get this group right here, every player that's in the Dynamo jersey now, I want to try to get more from. But it's the nature of things that over time, there will be changes to the roster, and the summer's coming up. We'll have to look and see if there's a way that we can make the team better. But my immediate approach is, what can I get from this group right now, this group of players?
Do you think your players realize, number one, you're an ultra marathoner, number two, realize the career of discipline and commitment that you had, and the extra work that you put in away from the cameras and the eyes, because that's what made Wade Barrett the player. From this commentator's perspective, there were some incredible intangibles that you possess. Do you think they realize that with you, and that they know that, wow, I better start paying attention to all these other things that sort of mirror what my manager's about? You talk about diet, you talk about taking care of yourself, you talk about getting every ounce of sweat equity out of a player you possibly can. This is Wade Barrett, and if I'm a player, I'm figuring that out pretty quick.
Yeah, I've probably tried to hide my my running career from the players a little bit, so they might not know a whole lot about that. But Glenn, we will all get to know each other better. I want the players to get to know more about me, but that's not me standing in front of them and telling all these things. I think even in the short amount of time that I've been in front of them as the head coach, I think they've gotten to know a little bit more about me. So but again, that will be throughout the entire group. I want us all to get to know each other a little bit better. I want everyone to get to know the staff better. I want to get to know the players a little bit better, know the things that I can maybe push them on and the things that maybe I need to pull back from. I think there can be a greater level of teamwork as far as that goes. But you know, it will never be about me or what I've done. It will all be about the team and us trying to learn more about each other and get the most out of each other.
Cable, insurance, electricity.
What the?
Sometimes, looking at your energy bill can be like getting hit on the head with a soccer ball. Discover how much you could save by switching to Frontier Utilities. It's the same electricity you have now for less.
Nice. Oh! I don't think I need you this month, Luis.
Oh, very good.
Frontier Utilities, a proud sponsor of the Houston Dynamo.
It's Star Wars night at BBVA Compass Stadium on June 18th. Come watch your Houston Dynamo take on the evil empire of DC United.
Come to the game, you must.
Who says success doesn't happen overnight? That's exactly when it happens. Night after night after night. Smoke 9. It took 9 iterations to perfect, and it's finally here. Wingstop, get at it.
Welcome back to BBVA Compass Stadium. Beautiful night. And at halftime, it's Houston Dynamo 2, San Antonio FC nothing. 2 goals late in the first half for the Dynamo. Mauro Manotas, his second U.S. Open Cup goal. And then Alex Lima in the very final play of the first half, 4 minutes into first half stoppage time. Off a crafty set piece, Boniek Garcia played it short to DeMarcus Beasley. His cross was flicked by David Rocha to the back post. And then kneed home from about 4 yards by Lima. 2-0 Dynamo. They've made one change. Raul Rodriguez has come in for David Horst. I believe that was planned. And Rodriguez partners with fellow Spaniard Agus Garcia. One change late in the first half due to injury. Jacques Francois entered for Sean Chin, who may have suffered a knee injury. So 2 changes left for each team and 45 minutes for San Antonio FC to keep their first Open Cup campaign alive. They have come from behind in this tournament. They did it June 1st in Des Moines, Iowa, down 1-0 into the 72nd minute. Got 2 late goals for a 2-1 win. But this, tougher competition and a 2-goal hole. Williams, clever ball, too long for Steinberger. Beasley thought he was tripped up. The referee had a good view. And they say play on. Now Beasley a second opportunity. That one ran too long for him. And it's a goal kick to San Antonio FC. So a much brighter start for the Dynamo after it took them a little while to get going in the first half. Look at the first half stats. Dynamo outshot San Antonio 3-1. Each team with a shot on goal, 2 fouls for San Antonio FC. Dynamo with 3. Dynamo 1 corner kick. 1 corner kick for SAFC. One big upset in the U.S. Open Cup, the New York Cosmos for the 2nd year in a row. They win the East River Derby, beating New York City FC 1-0. Daniel Cizatella, 88th minute, and assisted by Johandria Roscoe and former Dynamo man Adam Moffat as the Cosmos beat NYCFC 1-0. That's what makes the Open Cup great. Upsets like that, especially in local competition. Williams, forward, set up by McBride. Good touch here on this near side by Garcia. And the offside flag comes up. Rodriguez defending Jacques Francois. Benny Feilhaber scored for Sporting Kansas City. They lead 1-0 over Minnesota United. '78th minute. Extra time in Maryland. DC United and Fort Lauderdale still scoreless. Dallas leads OKC Energy 2-1 at halftime. Seattle and the Kitsap Pumas kick off later from Washington. Marmanotis, as I said, he's thrived in these opportunities to start. Still has not started an MLS game, but he scored here tonight the opening goal. Scored last year against Colorado in the Open Cup, his very first start. 2 goals against Santos Laguna, the Charities Cup last October. A goal against Sociedad at the end of May in the Charities Cup this year. Beasley to an overlapping Lima. Great dribbling for the Brazilian. And the cross is cleared by Cochran. Williams. Great entry ball to the feet of Manotas. Away from McCarthy. Much better rhythm in the second half from the Dynamo. Lima pushing wide to overload with Boniek Garcia. Slightly behind DeMarcus Beasley, but he keeps it alive. Feigns across, finds Steinberger, edge of the box. Great passing here from the Dynamo, but then Miranda was just a touch sloppy on his first time ball to Garcia. Athletic play from Boniek, but it's cleared by McCarthy. And Rocha all the way back to Raul Rodriguez. Rodriguez in his second season with the Dynamo, 31 appearances last year. Started the last 2 games under interim head coach Wade Barrett. As I said earlier, it's been sort of 3 men fighting for 2 spots at center back. Rodriguez, David Horst, and Agus Garcia. Garcia got 6 consecutive starts once he got his first. And it's a throw-in now for the Dynamo. I think there'll be some mixing and matching at that position. I haven't really heard from Wade Barrett exactly. I think competition will help, but the 3 bring different things to the field. As Cochran finds the feet of Jacques Francois. Garcia turns. Alvarez tried to cycle it wider for Johnson. Good defending from Lima. There's Rafa Castillo. 36-year-old Colombian. He's played in Egypt, all over Colombia, and now playing for his second club in San Antonio after winning the NASL title with the Scorpions in 14. Steinberger, Houston's first-round pick last year. Struggled to find playing time in his first 2 seasons. Last year went on loan to Indy 11. Has spent parts of this season on loan with Rio Grande Valley FC, the Dynamo's hybrid affiliate. Miranda with Steinberger. Williams. David Rocha. It's an excellent switching ball to pick out Beasley. 50 yards away. Lima with DeMarcus Beasley. Minnesota United has pulled a goal back. It's 1-1 now between Minnesota United FC and Sporting Kansas City. DeMarcus Beasley finds Boniek. Good ball from Garcia. Well read from Josh Ford. And then Rocha wins it right back. Good read, and he tries to beat Ford, who pushes it aside for a corner kick. Very bright start to the second half for David Rocha. Winning balls defensively That time trying his luck from 30 yards, and he'll take charge and take this corner kick. He's had limited opportunities, but we've seen him serve a very good free kick. And he'll take this corner kick here. The Dynamo, a very well-worked set piece. 4 players touched it. The last was Lima at the back post for the second goal of the game. Well taken free kick from Rocha. He settles here against Rafa Castillo. Miranda pushed off the ball slightly by Francois. Retains possession, wins a throw-in. David Rocha, 13 years in Spain. Most recently, Gimnastic de Tarragona. Was the captain of that club the last 2 years. 16 goals and 99 appearances since 2013. Born in Caceres, CP Casarano Academy. As I said in the first half, played for Villarreal B, Cartagena, and Albacete Balompié. Well-traveled Spaniard David Rocha trying to find more playing time here at the Dynamo. Raul Rodriguez. Has to be one of the more deep positions in MLS. You look at most MLS teams, they have 1 or 2 very good central midfielders, especially in that defensive role. Hard to break in. Clark and Lima have been 2 of the more regular players for the Dynamo this season. Clark leads the club in minutes. And Lima started every game in which he hasn't been suspended, as Williams hauls down Michael Reed in midfield. Free kick to San Antonio FC. Reed missed a couple games in May with a hamstring strain, but a good season. I talked with Darren Powell, the head coach of San Antonio, yesterday. Asked him who has been some standouts for him as we see the replay of this challenge from Shaney Williams against Reed. I couldn't really see from that angle, but you can see here the right arm of Williams just wrestle against Reed. Among the non-MLS players that some Dynamo fans will know, such as McCarthy and Cochran, Jason Johnson, as Houston gains a free kick. Powell mentioned Danny Garcia, the Dallas native and FC Dallas Academy product. Sean Chin, who left late in the first half with an injury. And Michael Reed, all having very good seasons. Be interesting to see what Powell does in San Antonio with this project. A good track record in youth development as Joe Willis has a shaky clearance, picked up by Rafa Garcia. The flag stays down as Francois let it go. I think he knew he was in offside position. But of course, 9 years at Elon University in North Carolina, very good program he developed. And then last year, Orlando City, a very new academy in the U.S. Soccer Development Academy. They were voted most improved academy in the Eastern Division by U.S. Soccer. Here's Jason Johnson against his old team. The last touch got away from him a bit, but he will win a corner kick for San Antonio. We saw Jason Johnson in his 3 seasons with the Dynamo. Once he is able to get the stride going in the open field, very tough to slow down. Corner kick now for San Antonio. Now the San Antonio players cued towards the back post. Willis, good strong catch. Some crafty set pieces from San Antonio. They've only had 2 corners. The first one, they sort of built a box in the penalty area with 2 or 3 on the goal line and then 3 at the top of the area. This was slightly similar with 3 on the back edge. Dynamo had their own set piece that was well taken with Boniek and DeMarcus Beasley involved. Rocha's flicked header Found Lima at the back post. Here's Ford. A little bit slow to react, but he gets there at the edge of the box ahead of Manotas. The equalizing goal for Minnesota United from Christian Ramirez, a penalty, 81st minute. So Kansas City, the defending champs, couple Open Cup crowns the last few seasons. Not easy against Minnesota United, as it's a Dynamo thrown on the far side. Fort Lauderdale Strikers, DC United, scoreless through 105 minutes. Boniek with Steinberger. McCarthy eventually does the job. Philadelphia Union, they've lost 2 of the last 3 U.S. Open Cup finals, both at PPL Park, their home stadium. Well, a bright start to their campaign this year. Roland Alberg, a free kick late in that one. Second half stoppage time, a 3-2 win over Harrisburg City Islanders. As Beasley does well, spins away from Danny Garcia, then he draws a foul. Les Stalmach, our referee. And Rocha will take another set piece. One thing Rocha could do to gain more playing time under Wade Barrett is show a proficiency for set pieces. But Christian Maidana is the primary set piece taker for the Dynamo, but he oftentimes doesn't go 90 minutes. As Rocha delivers this. Good one towards the near post, and it's headed in by Rodriguez. Beautiful delivery. And a good finish from Rodriguez makes it 3-0 Dynamo. Rocha, his second assist of the night. And Rodriguez has his first goal since last August. That was against Vancouver here at BBVA Compass Stadium. Beautiful delivery. Rodriguez between 2 San Antonio defenders. And nothing Josh Ford could do. I know Wade Barrett is confident that the Dynamo can be more productive off set pieces. He said he likes the targets he has, including David Horst, Raul Rodriguez, Agus Garcia, and others, including Will Bruin, Giles Barnes, Ricardo Clark. He thinks the Dynamo can do better in that department. Well, his first game as the interim head coach at home, and after being declared the head coach through at least the remainder of this season, he's produced 2 set-piece goals. So very impressive from Wade Barrett and the Dynamo. Williams. And just before that set piece, I was saying that Rocha could find his niche on this team as perhaps a second half substitute, replacing Christian Maidana, who often doesn't go 90 minutes. Set piece goals and delivery are especially important late in games, so he could be a natural replacement for Maidana. Because so many times this year when Maidana has left the field, the Dynamo haven't had a good set piece taker or one close in quality as Maidana, and Rocha could be just that. Well, here's the second change made by head coach Wade Barrett. It's Chaco Maidana entering for Boniek Garcia, so the Honduran goes 62 minutes. A good performance from the man with 105 caps for the Honduran national team. The other thing Wade Barrett has said is, of course he'll judge players by what he's seen from them previously under Owen Coyle and Dominic Kinnear. He can't help but do it. It's human nature. As Alvarez comes away with the ball, wide left here to Jacques Francois. Francois into the area. Steinberger does well. Here come the Dynamo, far side. Maidana's first touch. Has Miranda, has Manotas. Leaves it for Lima. Lima for Manotas! And his touch let him down just a bit. We did have a substitute right after that goal, I beg your pardon. He was set to come on before the corner kick. Victor Araújo, the 24-year-old Brazilian who played at Trinity University, the Division III powerhouse, I should say, in San Antonio. So he came on, replacing Danny Garcia. Araújo, number 7 on this near side. Second change made by Darren Powell in San Antonio FC. Victor Araújo grew up in Salvador, Brazil. Went to Belgium at about age 18. Played for a few lower division Belgian clubs. And then came back to Trinity. Had a great career there. Last summer played with the Ocean City Nor'easters in the PDL. 13th appearance in all competitions for Araújo in San Antonio here in his first professional season. 3-0 the Dynamo lead. Mar Manotas, the opening goal. Picking up his own pass. And a good left-footed finish from the top of the box past Josh Ford. Then a set piece delivered by DeMarcus Beasley, helped on with a flicked header from David Rocha. Bad giveaway from Maidana, trying to backheel in his own defensive half. Gives it right to Jason Johnson. But Rodriguez cuts out the pass intended for Francois. 39th minute goal from Manotas. First half stoppage time goal from Alex Lima. Off the flicked header from Rocha. And then another set piece. Wonderful delivery from Rocha to the near post. Raul Rodriguez, second half substitute. Knotted it home. Williams, too long with that pass. It looks like TJ Kastner will be the final change for the Houston Dynamo. There's a new rule in MLS this season that MLS clubs can pull up players from their USL affiliates on a short-term agreement, as it's called. Given away there. Chance here for Miranda, and he makes it 4. So a sloppy giveaway at the back from San Antonio, and the Dynamo make them pay. Miranda, who also got his first Dynamo goal in this competition last year against Austin. He scores his second career Open Cup goal, and the Dynamo with a comfortable 4-goal lead against San Antonio FC. Maidana to Lima. Ford committed to the top of the box, and Miranda steered it home. Miranda's first goal since last September against the Colorado Rapids. And scoring nearly a year to the date from his first Dynamo goal last June 17th against Austin here in the same round, the 4th round of the Open Cup. So the Dynamo, who I think had a slow start to this game. Their passing out of the back wasn't that sharp. A lot of play in midfield. But once they got the first goal from Manotas, it opened things up a little bit. The one before halftime really crushed the spirit of San Antonio FC, I would guess. And then 2 here in the second half. Araújo. Looking for Johnson at the back edge of the box. And now it's a Dynamo throw-in. Manotas, Alex Lima, Raul Rodriguez, and Lionel Miranda, the 4 goal scorers. Lima and Maidana both credited with an assist on the 4th goal. Now it's really opening up for Houston. The important thing for Wade Barrett is he has stressed sort of building from the back and then going forward. He wants to instill discipline. He wants the Dynamo to be hard to play against. He wants that to be the basic foundation this season. And then they can get to more attacking nuance, system of play, but he wants first and foremost to be hard to break down and organized defensively, and all the players have a clear plan when they step on the field each week. Well, after two road ties in very tough environments, FC Dallas and Vancouver, his first 2 games as interim head coach, and a 4-0 lead at home here in the U.S. Open Cup 4th round. A very bright start for Wade Barrett. 6.5 years as assistant coach with the Dynamo. Of course, captain of both MLS Cup victories, 06-07, 138 games as captain of the Dynamo as a player. And now a good start to his interim head coach tenure as he wants the full-time tag by the end of this season or sometime in the offseason. Lima through midfield. Kastner preparing to come on. I was starting to describe the new term. It's called a short-term agreement. It's basically a 4-day loan. You can do it up to 4 times a year per player. But it's MLS clubs pulling up players from their USL affiliate for the Open Cup or the CONCACAF Champions League or the Amway Canadian Championship for the Canadian clubs. So TJ Kastner has been excelling for Rio Grande Valley FC. He was drafted by the Dynamo this year, didn't make the senior team. Tied for the USL League with 4 assists. He's about to come on for his Dynamo debut. We saw the LA Galaxy use a short-term agreement with Jack McBean for their 4th round game last night. Rocha tripped up from behind. Very hard fall for Rocha. Free kick for the Dynamo as Kastner comes on for DeMarcus Beasley. So I think a good plan for Owen Coyle. He got 45 minutes out of David Horst. Gives Rodriguez 45 minutes. Agus Garcia will get 90 minutes. And DeMarcus Beasley, the captain, passes the armband to Raul Rodriguez. And Beasley gets 70 minutes ahead of Saturday's game against DC United as the Dynamo play their first game tonight in nearly 2 weeks. And here's Kastner. Gets a nice word of encouragement from Beasley as he leaves the field. Beasley, of course, scored his first goal this season in Barrett's interim head coach debut at Vancouver, the opening goal in that 1-1 draw. Free kick for the Dynamo. As the athletic trainer for San Antonio FC enters the field, Jordan Harding. Kastner's from Irvine, California. Great career at Clemson University, part of their wonderful season this year. They reached the College Cup championship game before falling to Stanford. Team best 10 goals and 4 assists. Dynamo took him in the 3rd round. Did not make the team, but he's made 12 appearances. Make that 13 appearances for RGV. 4 assists and has trained with the Dynamo all week. Maidana assisted on the Miranda goal. Now it's Maidana. And a good save from Ford, diving to his left. We have not seen that from Maidana. trying to score directly from a free kick. He scored on his Dynamo debut against New England back in March, but it wasn't from a set piece. That time he came close. Good sprawling save from Josh Ford. Now my Dynamo will take this corner kick towards the middle. Target was Agus, but well cleared that time by Carlos Alvarez. Dynamo 4, San Antonio nothing. I would say it's not the most fair scoreline for San Antonio FC. It's been, in some ways, an even game in certain aspects, but the Dynamo have won the crucial moments. 2 set-piece goals, a bad turnover at the back from San Antonio. Dynamo really picked them apart after the turnover as Ford came way off his line. And the opening goal was just a really good moment for Manotas. He tried to pass to Boniek. Garcia, who made a different run than Manotas expected, but he picked up his own pass, and a really good left-footed finish from our Manotas. Good strength that time from Francois. He is called for a foul as he grabbed Williams around the shoulders. Now we'll see another change, the third and final change for Darren Powell in San Antonio. It's Biko Bradnock Brennan entering the game. And he replaces Milton Palacios. Bradnock Brennan, 23, Irish native. Spent some time with Fulham and Blackpool in his youth career, then played at UNC Charlotte, a rival of Elon University, where Powell coached. Brennan, now in his first professional season with San Antonio FC. It's the 10th overall appearance for Biko Bradnock Brennan. 3rd in the Open Cup. They played 90 minutes at Portland on Saturday. 15 minutes to go. It's the Dynamo 4, San Antonio FC nothing. Mauro Manotas, the opening goal. Alex Lima, the second goal. Final play before halftime. Then in the second half, Rodriguez heading home a David Rocha cross. And then Miranda finishing into an empty net off a feed from Alex Lima. 4-0 Dynamo. And I think the irony for San Antonio FC in their first season, as we said, only 12 goals against in 12 USL games. 2 more allowed in 2 earlier rounds of the Open Cup. So really 1 goal allowed per game in all competitions, but they allow 4 against the Dynamo tonight. You would expect maybe a more close, low-scoring affair, 1-0 or 2-1, but set-piece defending has doomed San Antonio FC tonight. And then just lapses in defending as Kastner pulls it wide. He thought it might have been deflected, it was not. 2 set-piece goals for San Antonio FC was not good enough, and then 2 defensive lapses where Manotas was able to pick up his own pass. And Miranda finished into an empty net. I think Darren Powell will say all 4 goals were preventable on this night. The offside flag is up. It's a restart for Joe Willis, who hasn't had to do a whole lot on the night. Made a save or 2 in that first half. A Dynamo have equaled their largest ever margin of victory in the Open Cup. If this game stays 4-0, they'll match their previous Open Cup victory margin. That was against Charleston Battery in the quarterfinals in 2009, a 4-0 win. Dynamo played Charleston 3 straight years in the Open Cup. They lost in 07 and 08 and got some sweet revenge a year later. 07 after extra time, 08 in a penalty shootout, and then a 4-0 win for Retribution. DC United, Fort Lauderdale Strikers headed to a shootout. Joe Willis in goal for the Dynamo. Really some spectacular moments when he played for DC United in this tournament. Here's Johnson. Tries to line up a left-footed shot blocked out by Agus. Willis was the backup to Billamide in 2013. But he basically led DC United to the finals of that tournament with 4 consecutive victories. And in the Richmond Kickers, at the end of May of that year, he had saved 2 penalties. And then they had consecutive victories against Philadelphia and the New England Revolution to reach the semis. They beat the Fire in the semifinals. Billamide played the final as DC United upset host Real Salt Lake and built some momentum for that team heading into 2014, where they had a huge bounce-back campaign, going from one of the worst MLS seasons ever to a playoff team and a high seed in the East. So Willis told media yesterday he likes this competition. He values it, takes it seriously. A lot of history now in the 103rd edition. A shootout last night at Rio Tinto Stadium. It's a big save from Jeff Attinella as Real Salt Lake outlasted Wilmington. A 2-0 lead for the USL side on the road, but some of the big guns came off the bench. Burrito Martinez scoring the tying goal. Joao Plata pulled the goal back for Salt Lake. One of the big upsets tonight, New York Cosmos beating New York City FC 1-0. Second straight year. The longtime club beating the club with less history, NYCFC. Now Rodriguez down after a challenge from Victor Araujo. The Dynamo do not know who they'll play next. The draw is tomorrow, probably about midday. But the 5th round is set for June 29th. And from here on out, you basically know your opponents. The draw tomorrow will take the final 16 teams, put them in 4 regions of 4, grouped geographically. And once you're in that group of 4, you know your opponents for the next 2 rounds. If you win that group of 4, you are in the final. Free kick for the Dynamo. So teams like FC Dallas, Colorado Rapids, Real Salt Lake, Sporting Kansas City. Those are the MLS clubs that would be grouped geographically, but upsets still can happen. Later on tonight, Dallas leads Oklahoma City Energy 2-1, 78th minute. I think that game's being played at SMU as Maidana's service is caught in the box by Josh Ford, who throws it out quickly. Carlos Lizarazo scored twice after Jordan Rideout gave OKC Energy FC the opening lead. And the offside flag comes up on this near side. Frustration for Greg Cochran. Minnesota United and Sporting Kansas City 1-1 in extra time. They're in the 103rd minute. Defending champions going to the brink tonight. Chicago and the Indy 11. 80th minute, scoreless game. Indy 11. Very good season in the NASL this year. Later tonight, Seattle hosts the Kitsap Pumas. Throw it on this near side for the Dynamo. Armanotas opened the scoring for the Dynamo. Jacques Francois. Took some contact from Shaney Williams. And a free kick to SAFC. Francois, the Southern Conference Player of the Year last year. Another lopsided game of the Open Cup tonight. Columbus 4, Tampa Bay Rowdies nothing. Justin Miram, Christian Martinez, Ethan Finley, and Marshall Hollingsworth, the goals for Columbus Crew SC. Here's Marmanotas, has Maidana to his left. Miranda arriving late on this right side. Maidana away from Stephen McCarthy. Back to Kastner. Kastner, good cross. Miranda's header is high and wide. So Kastner, the final substitute for Wade Barrett. His Dynamo debut tonight on loan from Rio Grande Valley FC. A Dynamo wanted to use Jose Escalante as well tonight, a Honduras U20 national team player who is also part of Rio Grande Valley FC, but some paperwork needed to get the deal done to get him up here. He's on loan from Olympia of Honduras to Rio Grande Valley FC. It would take another loan to get him to the Dynamo, and the paperwork was not finalized in time, but the Dynamo are optimistic. If they advance in the tournament, he could be used in later rounds. Escalante, 3 goals with Rio Grande Valley this year. Rodriguez, good position against Francois. Throwing here to SAFC. Araujo too long with his delivery from midfield. For San Antonio, an end to their Open Cup run tonight, but a lot to build off in their first season in the USL. Very good attendance. Top 3 in the USL, I believe. Got a few sellouts, a few near sellouts. Beautiful stadium in San Antonio, Toyota Stadium. Jason Johnson. Defended by Agus Garcia. Rafa Castillo. Cochran wide here. Francois. Decent ball towards the back post, but beyond everybody. And Lima claims it. A very formidable lineup put out by Wade Barrett of the Dynamo. I'd say the only real starters or potential starters kept out: Will Bruin, Tyler Derrick, Colin Warner. Giles Barnes, of course, still away with Copa America. Jamaica's out of the tournament, but will probably need some time to rest and regenerate before rejoining the team. The Dynamo hosting DC United this Saturday. Star Wars night here at BBVA Compass Stadium. Then they go to Portland a week from Sunday. That's just a few hours before Copa America Centenario final. Dynamo taking on the MLS Cup champions, June 26th. 89th minute, Dynamo 4, San Antonio FC nothing. Maidana. Steinberger. Lost by Kastner. Reed forward for SAFC. Francois, a good move, past several defenders, got pushed from behind by Steinberger, but he got the ball. Referee in a good position. Manotas, Alex Lima, Raul Rodriguez, Lino Miranda, the 4 goal scorers. Another upset in the Open Cup as Willis makes the save. Fort Lauderdale Strikers beat DC United 4-3 in penalties after a scoreless 120 minutes. So a win for the NASL over MLS. Fort Lauderdale Strikers joining the New York Cosmos. 2 NASL clubs to beat MLS teams tonight as NYCFC went down in the East River Derby, as it's known. 90th minute from Houston. Here's Maidana. Expected a run from Miranda, it never came. Rodriguez back to Willis. And there's the full-time whistle. A Dynamo, a comfortable, confident win once they got the ball rolling. And Manotas, another Open Cup goal. Lionel Miranda, an Open Cup goal. And Rodriguez scores his first of the year. Alex Lima grabs his third. A Dynamo move on to the 5th round of the Open Cup for the 2nd straight year. They'll learn their opponent tomorrow, and if they'll host that on June 29th. A good effort from San Antonio FC, just 4 bad moments for them. Each goal was preventable. A Dynamo trying to reach their best ever finish in this competition and surpass it. Twice semifinalists, 2006 and 2009. And more positive results. 2 ties and a win for Wade Barrett as the interim head coach of the Houston Dynamo. Thank you for tuning in. The Houston Dynamo knock off their Texas rivals in their very first meeting. And a good opening U.S. Open Cup run for San Antonio FC. For Brock Jessel and David Obert, this is Matt Peterson signing off for Houston, Texas. 4 different goal scorers for the Dynamo. They're on to the 5th round. Final score from Houston. It's the Dynamo 4, San Antonio FC nothing.
It's Star Wars night at BBVA Compass Stadium on June 18th. Come watch your Houston Dynamo take on the evil empire of DC United.
Come to the game, you must.
My first ever goal was to become a professional player. It's something I dreamed of as a kid. Coming out of the tunnel for the first time, it was incredible. The only thing I think about was trying to find my dad in the crowd. That was my way of settling my nerves. He's my mentor, my hero. It was that moment that I realized this is my dream and this is my chance to grasp it.
Dash Dads. Bring your family for Father's Day.
Take Dad to a Dash game this Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Rising before the sun is easy when you love your work. It's done every day by the thousands of electricians at the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 716. We train hard, show up on time, and feel responsible for the work we do. We live by our word. There are no excuses, because customers and Houston's community deserve that. IBEW, where skilled labor isn't cheap, and cheap labor isn't all that skilled. The time is now to hire IBEW electricians.
Quiet first half for both teams. Good spin for Manotas. And he plays it behind Boniek, gets his own pass, and he puts it away! And he plays it behind Boniek, gets his own pass, and he puts it away! Mauro Manotas! much better on set pieces this year, already a career-high 2 goals. Beasley with the delivery. Flick to the back post, and it's kneed home by Lima. Well, that's a dagger for the Dynamo. Final seconds of the first half off a corner kick. DeMarcus Beasley finds Boniek. Good ball from Darcy Ford. And then Rocha wins it right back. Good read, and he tries to beat Ford, who pushes it aside for a corner kick. As Rocha delivers this. Good one towards the near post, and it's headed in by Rodriguez. And a good finish from Rodriguez makes it 3-0 Dynamo. Given away there. Chance here for Miranda, and he makes it 4. So a sloppy giveaway at the back from San Antonio, and the Dynamo make them pay. Now it's Maidana. And a good save from Ford.